And now we are happy to have on future Hall of Famer, former Browns left tackle Joe Thomas on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, guys.
So let's shift gears then to Deshaun Watson. And I'm just curious what your reaction was as that played out. And when, I mean, it kind of took all of us by surprise when we saw, oh, he's waiving his no trade clause and he's chosen the Browns. Because look, we all assumed they were out of it at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I was as shocked as anybody. I think I was under the impression that the Browns were happy to give Baker-Mayfield one healthy season to kind of be that season to prove, is he the guy or is he not the guy? Because we've seen a high standard deviation during Baker's career. And that's why I think he's become maybe the most polarizing player that we've ever seen, because he's got these great, unbelievable moments where he is fantastic under pressure. He makes the tough throws. The team is behind him. He shows that grittiness, that guttiness that we saw from college. He's got a little bit of that swag, that cockiness that when he's on your team, just like Jack Parkman from Major League Two, you love it. You love to see it, right? And it makes the other teams hate it. And so I think he was a guy that was very beloved. But on the flip side, he has had a lot of low moments where guys were wide open. The game was on the line and he was either afraid to throw it because he didn't have trust in his arm, or he made a bad decision and he threw it into double coverage and it became an interception. And I think rightfully so, the narrative is this team is built for success right now. These guys, this is the best collection of players the Browns team has had since they've come back by far. And so figuring out the quarterback position, getting consistent play from that position is absolutely imperative, especially when you look at the face of the AFC with the number of young stud quarterbacks that the AFC has. And now adding Russell Wilson in there too. Like, you have to have terrific quarterback play to expect to have any chance to make the Super Bowl. And I think the Browns realize that. And there's still a large segment of the fan base that are saying, hey, that could still be Baker. We don't know what we have because of all the turmoil he had during his career and because of the injury from last year. Yeah, he played bad. I'm sure he'll even admit it. But was it because of the shoulder or was it because of something else?
The fact that he asked to be traded. I
yes,
think
the trade, of course.
You were a little dismayed by that, I think.
Yes, absolutely. So I kind of always felt like I knew who Baker was, right? Especially after the Duke Johnson stuff and Hugh Jackson stuff. He was like, I'm a Cleveland Brown. You either ride or die with us. I don't care about the business side of stuff, which is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way because, you know, especially if you're the quarterback and you're going to be making 20 million a year, or if you're on your second deal and you're making 40 million a year, it's easy to say it's not about the business and I'm not worried about my contract because you already got 100 million in the bank. But you know what? There's a lot of players on number 20 through 53 that may not have anything in the bank because they're rookies and they're playing them on a minimum salary. And so it is important for them to try to like help their families and help their kids and their futures. So there is a business side of football, no matter if you like it or not. But after, especially when he talked about the Duke Johnson, like you're either on this train or you're not, it really seemed like he was the last guy on earth who would get mad at the team and just decide I'm going to demand to be traded, because that just wasn't part of the brand that we were led to believe was Baker. Now, obviously a lot of things have happened since then. And he felt very disrespected, but I was really hoping that one, Baker was going to be the quarterback next season and he was going to get one more opportunity to prove that he could or he couldn't do it, because I felt like he deserved that. But two, this was a perfect opportunity for him to prove his biggest doubters wrong. And his biggest doubters say that his immaturity shows up off the field. It shows up on the field with decision-making, and it's holding him back from progressing into a great quarterback because he has the skill set to do that. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, what a perfect opportunity to put all the doubters down and prove once and for all to everybody your maturity level, how much you've grown since you were a rookie, that even though the Browns kind of stiffed you, and yeah, they told you that they were going to maybe look for an upgrade at quarterback if it was available, but Andrew Berry even came out and said, I should have told him we were going to go and actually interview Deshaun in person. He didn't do that. So rightfully so, Baker felt a little bit disrespected, like, hey, I thought I was your guy, but he had that great opportunity to be a bigger man and say, I understand things happen, business is business, but now it's your turn to recommit to me, whatever that looks like, whether that be contract, whether that be, hey, we're not going to do that again this season. So, you know, maybe guarantee a 1-year extension for him, add some players around him, whatever his needs are. Like, that was their opportunity to say, I'm sorry. And then have this kiss and make up moment where the Browns and Baker had never been more aligned before. And I felt like he took the low road. Like he took the, I'm not going to talk to you, I just want to be traded. And then to think that he could just demand, I'm going to be traded to the Colts, it was a little bit off-putting to me, because I thought your self-perception of how you're viewed across the league is probably not in alignment with how everybody else sees you and your performance, especially coming off a year which you played poorly and you got a hurt shoulder. And there's another guy that's available named Jimmy Garoppolo, who's played better than you and who's also coming off the same surgery, but hasn't had some of the off-field prickliness issues that seem to always surround Baker. I think you have two buckets with Deshaun, right? You have the player on the field. You have what his reputation was off the field. And as a teammate before all this, which was sterling and sparkling. And obviously this is tremendously hurtful and damaging allegations against him from not just one person, multiple women. So clearly the off the field issue that he's dealing with coming in makes you very nervous, especially being the quarterback who's traditionally always been the face of the franchise. And it's easy for me to get excited about who he is as a quarterback because he is a top 5 quarterback. And the Browns are a Super Bowl contender, no doubt, with him in that role, but still trying to level with yourself in your own mind about those allegations is difficult. And personally, like, just not even talking about Deshaun Watson and his situation, I believe in second chances. I believe in people that are remorseful and that accept their punishment for their crimes should not be shunned from society forever. There should be a path back. And I also feel that the criminal justice system, the civil justice system, is in place. And we've all, because we're Americans, agreed to live under those rules. And we have to allow those rules and that process to be played out before we really should be able to make a judgment on somebody, because we don't have all the information, even though we feel like we have a lot, or we have enough to be able to think that we know what's going on. I just still always think it's better, just like if you see something crazy on Facebook or Twitter, just take a second, because it might not be exactly how it seems at the beginning. Just take some time. Don't allow your emotions to become hyperbolic in one direction or the other.
Joe, before we let you go, where can we find you?
You can find me at Twitter at JoeThomas73. I do a podcast mostly during the season, but we hit a few during the off season called the Tom and Hawk Football Show on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. I also work for NFL Network, so you can find me occasionally on Total Access. But my next big gig is going to be at the draft with NFL Network. We're covering live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right. Should be a very fun draft there.
Absolutely.
In Las Vegas. Joe, it's always great to see you. Thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.